You know me as Aisha, the Yellow Power Ranger, and you are watching Enemy Secrets. But hey, join me next year at Ranger Stop and Pop, June 13th through the 15th in Atlanta, Georgia. It is our final year, so come and have a fun time with us. It is like a family reunion of Power Ranger fans, Power Rangers, and we're just going to have the best time ever. It's morphin' time.
Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Oh, yes. This is Goldar, and you're listening to Toku Secrets Podcast. Don't tune us out. Tune us in.
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin' Time. Link to the Morphin'. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Smokin' Silver.
I'm Patrick Allen, I'm Shinken Red.
And I'm Rizwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And I'm Anthony Davis, also known as Curie Green. And we're Toku Secrets.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Toku Secrets Podcast, presented by animesecrets.org. And today, we are taking a look at... we are once again returning to the current Sentai that is airing, celebrating 50 years of the Super Sentai franchise, number one Sentai GoZyuger. Last time, as per usual, we took a look at the very first episode of it, and now we are going to be moving on to where we take a look at multiple episodes in one podcast. So this time we're taking a look at episodes 2 through 5. So, yeah, and... thanks for the sound effects. And we are also going to be, since we are kind of getting our feet wet with this Sentai now, we're also going to be giving some of our opening tier rankings for the first 5 Rangers, and we'll update those when we reach the halfway point for GoZyuger. So, yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun on this podcast, hopefully. But before we jump in, let us do a brief recap of what happened in the first episode to kind of set up what GoZyuger is all about. So it started off with this flashback where there was a massive fight called the Universe War, where all Sentai Robos from every world, so it could range from Battle Fever Robo to Boom Boomja Robo, etc. They engaged against an unknown threat, and they used all their energy to drive it off. And a new figure named Tega Sword stood upon their bodies. They were all destroyed, and there was this figure called Tega Sword who stood upon their bodies, awaiting a savior. And then we fast forward to the present day. We have a new hero called Hoeru Tono. He's very indifferent, doesn't care about anything. He grew up without any wishes or dreams, doesn't care about life. And he found that his friend Tsutsumi Natsume, who was played by the same actor who played Taya in a Boom Boomja, he had this mysterious ring that allowed him to transform into a Kawagata Oger. Yes, the Red King Oger. When the world came under attack by a villain called the Evil Fire Candle. And while there, he was brought to the world where Tega Sword is, and he found his own ring, and Tega Sword gave him this challenge to become the number one hero. That would reveal his true wishes and desires. So he's accepted the challenge to become the number one hero. And he becomes a Goju Wolf as a result, the red GoZyuger. And the episode ended with Natsume getting angry and that Hoeru has a ring, and he lashed out at him, and the two got into a fight. We'll follow up that on with the second episode. But before we jump in, we now officially have the GoZyuger theme song here. So what do we think about the GoZyuger theme song? Just to kind of touch upon it before we jump into the big stuff.
It's been stuck in my head for the last few days.
Dude, same. It's so
It's
catchy.
it's so catchy. Then when I was listening to it the first time, I was like, this singer sounds familiar. So I went to look to see who wrote the song. This is the same people that did the Digimon Ghost game intro.
Yep.
Oh wow.
So most of us have heard these guys before.
Yep.
And their stuff is really catchy because Faction was the name of the Ghost Game theme, and it was great too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm gonna have to listen to it a couple of more times before it gets stuck in my head the way that the Boom Boomger theme song got stuck, but it's still a pretty good theme song.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought I was gonna hate it, but like it's really grown on me.
Yeah.
I hate to be that one contrarian, but it hasn't hit me in the same way it hit you guys, I think. Like, it's okay, but it's not like in my head stuck living rent free or anything. Yeah.
Well, let's see how you feel about the next Sentai theme that we're going to have to talk about later, but we're not going to mention which one it is. But Patrick and
Yeah.
Anthony know what I'm talking about.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. I've been doing my homework.
yeah. But yeah, let's jump into the main stuff here. Episode 2, Catch the Treasure. It's My Prey, where Hoeru meets two other GoZyugers. So to kind of give a bit of a, we kind of have to go a little bit in depth in this episode because of a lot of the stuff that happens. But the fight between Hoeru and Sumi's at the end of the last episode, it gets interrupted. There's two of these mysterious men who are shown to be wearing blue and yellow versions of Hoeru's rings. They break up the fight. And then Fire Candle, who's the main antagonist, and we'll talk a little bit about the villains in a second, but he unleashes a No-One monster. More on that in a second. And the two men show up and they transform into two other GoZyugers. So we have Blue Goju Leon, a lion based ranger, and Goju Tyranno, yellow, a Tyrannosaurus Rex theme ranger. Goju Leon is Rikuo Byakuya, he's a former super idol. He retires from his profession in this episode, but he's a big famous guy. And then we also have uh, Goju Tyranno. He is Ryugi Bakugami. He's the best way to kind of describe him is that he worships take his sword like a god, and he's basically a monk. Yeah, that's well, we'll talk about him later. And they're fighting to protect Earth, so they're kind of fighting together to protect Earth while also trying to obtain the rings for themselves. And they try to get Hoeru to join them, but he declines their offer as he's only seeking treasure. And then uh, during a fight, we find out that Rikuo has a Boon Red ring, so he can transform into Boon Red. We see Ryugi take control of Take a Sword for this, so this marks the first appearance of Take a Sword Yellow. And at the end of the episode, it's revealed that Ryugi actually bought the cafe where Hoeru was staying. He's turned it into a cafe themed after Take a Sword. And we also learned a little bit about the villains, like I said in this episode, where Fire Candle is living in the No One world. So that's where the names of the monsters come from, No One monsters. And we have him and Bouquet. We met Bouquet in the first episode. We have this two-headed monster with two different personalities called Mr. Shining Knife and Mrs. Sweet Cake. And they're all apparently trying to serve a bigger queen who's a big head but can't talk. It's kind of confusing with the villains, but we could talk about that later. But yeah, that's all the information for this episode. What do we think about this one?
My first thought is Tyranno and Leon are psychopaths. Goju Tyranno, what was his name? Ryuki. or
Yeah.
Ryugi or whatever. He is insane. And I love him.
Right.
And I love the idea of we'll see it a little bit later, but Rikuo, or the blue one,
Yeah.
the idol, he is so up his own ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
He
there's
is.
something so cartoonishly out over the top with these two, and they are entertaining.
I mean, I think Ryugi is interesting. I think he is a bit irritating in his devotion to the Tega sword. But you guys like Blue?
I mean, there's not much to his character up to this point, but the way he presents himself is just...
I find him annoying in this episode.
I kind of find it like arrogance to the point of it being comedic.
I mean,
I never found him annoying. I found him funny.
I think I got spoiled by GoZyuger. Where, you know,
I mean, he's a different kind of funny.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's not hitting for me in the way that it's hitting for you. And like
honestly, Riz, I was not gonna like him at first because I thought the whole I think it was the treasure hunt thing. It was kind of just like I legit thought that he was gonna screw over those two old people, and I'm just like, what? You're gonna return that to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and he did it eventually. I was like, okay, good.
Yeah, like they're not bad people, right? Like they're just he's not a bad guy. He has his intentions are mostly kind of in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
More on that later when we get to the analysis part, I think. But I find him too over the top, and I think
You're talking about Rikuo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Rikuo. No, I like I said, Ryugi Yellow, he's okay. I'm not like, you know, I have no opinion on him beyond he's okay. But Blue Rikuo, I found him annoying. Straight up. Like he annoyed me.
I mean, I'm honestly
he's okay for me, honestly.
Granted, it's been a while since I've seen, it's been a while since I've seen this episode in particular, but from what I'm going off of, you know, with my notes and with the reviews that I've written, I would say that I really like Ryugi, and I'll go into more detail when we get to the end here, but Rikuo, I'm honestly just kind of indifferent toward him. Like, I don't hate him, but he's probably so far the one that hasn't left as big of an impression on me, but I mean, hopefully that'll change. But yeah, I'm just honestly kind of indifferent toward him.
I mean, and okay, so I know I find him annoying, but it's not like an annoyance like how I hated Zahn or how we don't like Geki. Like, it's not like that. It's just,
yeah.
When I say annoying, I don't mean it like that. I mean it more like he's not a person that I particularly am interested in, and his attempts to be funny are not hitting for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at right now for him.
But as for the rest of the episode, you know, taking out the whole thing with Rikuo and Ryugi, I have to say that, you know, the first episode, I definitely liked what I saw and kind of wanted to see what take it was going to get. And I definitely liked, I think this episode did kind of get me a little bit more intrigued into it, because it's like, okay, so Red is doing his own thing and Blue and Yellow are kind of their own team, and they offer Red to join, but he doesn't want to join, and it's like they're setting up like a kind of friendly rivalry here. That's honestly an interesting subject, and it I don't know. I think this episode definitely got me a little bit more. I don't want to say hooked on GoZyuger, but at least more optimistic about what it could be after I watched this episode.
Yeah, because this is the episode that, just kind of skipping ahead to some of the just a kind of a brief outline of how some of these episodes are going to go. We get introduced to a monster who takes a hold of somebody, and they basically are like the best in the no world at this one specific thing. And they try to outdo them in a contest. And it seems like the focal point is going to be Red learning how to improve himself in these different areas when the other GoZyugers seem to be able to handle. They seem like they're specialists in certain fields, but he's not really a specialist in anything. And he's just like becoming adaptive to everything. That's kind of seems like what the episode structure is going to be.
He's
here.
like a sponge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also, the one thing I want to say about him real quick here in this episode, Hoeru, is, I don't know about you, but he just seems like he's just awkward in these episodes.
Who are you talking about?
Red.
GoZyu Wolf.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, it's not that he's awkward. It's that he's lived a life so isolated that he doesn't know how to have social cues or social interaction or empathy or friendship or anything interesting, you know? Like, he's just more of a lone wolf, literally.
Yeah, lone wolf, it makes sense. And it kind of makes him stand out as a Red. I don't know if you felt that same way, Nate, because you're the one.
Yeah, definitely.
He's
another pretty unique Red. Probably not. He definitely doesn't have the same like type of charisma that Taya had, but he's at least unique.
I think that's why I kind of like that he's the opposite of Taya. And I do love Taya, don't be wrong, but I like the fact that he is the exact opposite of Taya. That's what makes him interesting.
He's nothing like Taya, but to me, he was maybe it's my opinion, and it might just be a misperception on my part, but to me, he seemed to encroach a little bit into that annoying hothead Red trope that we normally have. But I understand where you guys are coming from with the uniqueness to it, because it is a unique take on that trope, but still, the trope is there nonetheless. Like, end of the day, he's still hot-headed, he's still impulsive, he refuses to be a team player, all things that the other people in that trope do.
He's just very low energy about it.
He's
Exactly.
very low energy about it.
He is very low energy about it, which makes him a bit more bearable, right? Like, he's not like, Nate, help me out here. You know what I'm talking about.
Not
Takaharu.
Yeah.
Come on, Nate.
Sorry.
You're supposed to be able to read my mind at this point, damn it.
I know.
No, but he's not like Takaharu. He's not annoying in his impulsiveness. So I think he could end up doing something interesting, but the low energiness of him, I think it's the wrong way to go with him. Like, if he had a little bit of emotion, not a ton, it might have been better. And not like high emotion, right? Like, just I don't even want to say personality, because he has personality. It's just not interesting personality. He's just kind of sponging and doing whatever he needs to survive. And that is personality, but not like... Patrick, you're about to say something, aren't you?
The term I was going to use is introverted.
But yeah, but it's contradictory, right? Like, introverted but impulsive and hot-headed.
I mean, there are people like that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think over time I'm going to grow to like him more, but right now I'm a little bit more lukewarm to him.
Yeah, he's a very strange Red to kind of get a grasp on.
He's someone where we're going to have to see a lot more of him before we can truly gauge him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like right now, like, spoilers for this podcast, but to me, he remains lukewarm throughout.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's
Well, I
fair.
mean, it's the first
Honestly,
5 episodes, so that's to
yeah.
be expected.
They're going to
Yeah.
play the long game with him.
Oh
So.
yeah, I think so. If we don't get some kind of Takaru reveal or some kind of Takaru sift by the end,
Yeah.
I'd be a little surprised. But
Yeah.
I will say at the end of episode 2, I was very irritable with Yellow and his devotion to the Tegasword. It just seemed over the top, and I think the over the topness here is what's my biggest complaint so far.
I'm a little worried that you might not like Dawn Brothers then, because there's a lot of that there.
No,
Yellow.
I think the thing here is we'll get to it in the analysis, but no, I don't think that's gonna be the case there, Anthony.
Oh.
And I'll explain more why later.
But yeah, I want to give. I definitely want to give episode 2 an 8, just because, like I said, not hooked on the show yet, but this I feel gave me a better impression of what the show could be compared to the first episode, and it has me wanting to keep watching. So it definitely did a lot of things right. That's why definitely not a 9 because it didn't wow me, but it's good enough to be an 8.
I agree with Nate. That's definitely 8 for me as well.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Nah, I'm going with a 7.
That's fair.
Fair enough. All right. Next up, we have episode 3, The Boss of Japan. I'm the Prime Minister, where this is a Hoeru episode. It's kind of a filler episode, although not really, where Hoeru enlists the help of the Prime Minister. He wants to become more popular. So a couple of things about this episode. We find out that the rings that the GoZyugers have, it gives them enhanced ability, so civilian powers. Hoeru has enhanced sense of smell. Rikuo has enhanced hearing, and Ryugi has superhuman strength. We are introduced to a new recurring character named Atami Tokonatsu. He is the Prime Minister of Japan. Yes, seriously. He has a ring that allows him to transform into Don Momotaro. That is the Red Ranger from Don Brothers. And he's also accompanied by his right hand woman. She's a private detective named Sumino Ichikawa. She has a black colored Gojuju ring, which will be relevant in the last episode we're going to review here. A little bit of a fun fact about Tokonatsu. He is actually played by Ko Nanase, who apparently, according to the information I got on the Ranger Wiki, he played Kirisaki. He's the titular character of Ultraman Tragear. So that's pretty cool. They got an Ultraman actor coming here to play on Sentai. That's pretty cool. Um, Ryugi is revealed to have the O Ranger ring, so he can transform into O Red. Rikuo uses Tega's sword for the first time here, so this marks the first appearance of Tega's sword blue. And at the end of this episode, when Hoeru and Atami they get into a fight, they get stopped by this mysterious green GoZyuger. He introduces himself as Goju Eagle, and he's an 87-year-old man named Joji Takehara. But just disregard all of that information because we'll be talking more about him in the next episode. What do we think about this one, guys?
This prime minister's a douche.
Yeah,
I like him.
but I do like his personality though. Like,
Yeah, I like his
I
personality.
love how
Yeah.
cheerful and positive energy it is, but he just is like, yeah, I'm just doing this just for the clout. Like,
Yeah, no,
Pretty much.
he's a fun character. I like him. He's bringing more interesting energy into the mix by being a prime minister. First of all, second of all, being a ring bearer. That's my new term for these guys, by the way, Nate.
Fair.
So, yeah, he's a fellow ring bearer, I think, and he's playing a good role in being a fun rival to the main 5. And
Mhm.
I think it works to have him be this more than whatever Taya's actor's character's name is in this one. Like I think this one worked a lot better in terms of like, hey, here's a guy who has a ring and he's gonna henson into some rando red that he has no connection to in our Sentai franchise. So I like him. He's fun, and I think this episode was, it was a fun time. I think kind of getting to see Unicorn for a few minutes here is also kind of fun and intriguing because I've been most interested in seeing her from the previews. So getting to see that little preview of her give me some hope of, okay, this might be fun.
Yeah, I definitely like that too. Okay, I'm weird when it comes to these things where I don't always pay a lot of attention to the main cast reveals of these seasons. That's why when we originally watched King Oger, honestly, I didn't know that Gero was supposed to be red at first, so I was surprised when he took the powers from Rackless, and seeing her Sumino turn out to be black. That was actually pretty cool because honestly, as someone who doesn't really pay attention to this and wants to see what's just going to happen in the show itself, it was a pretty nice touch to see Sumino be Unicorn, if you know what I mean.
I actually kind of liked what this episode was trying to do with Hoeru, trying to get him out there to be a little bit more sociable. Like we were just talking, he's kind of a introvert, and you could tell how uncomfortable he was doing this stuff. But
yeah,
the final bit of him getting his old boss's vote is the most popular thing, and that little smirk he had at the end was a very nice touch to the end of this episode. Just it's those little small things that go a long way in carrying a plot.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a pretty safe episode given this early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, it was. This is where I probably want to give an 8 over the last one where it was a 7 for me.
Yeah.
It's more, like you said, it's a more safe episode. I think the Prime Minister kind of stole the show for me in this one.
Oh, he did. He absolutely stole the episode.
So no, because if it wasn't for him, this would be another 7 for me. No offense to the season, but
yeah.
No, this guy elevated up to an 8. So that's good news. And then there is that interesting intrigue that we'll get into next episode about GoZyu Eagle being an old man.
Yeah.
So
but I think 8 is pretty acceptable for this one.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 as well for this one. Can I just talk about how they're doing that same trope where that's not a bad trope where two people are fighting but they have no clue one doesn't know any clue about the other, meaning with the Tegasaur Blue fighting against Boquette, she had no idea it's Rikuo. I think that's hilarious. I love that.
Oh yeah, she was fanboying over him, not knowing that he was inside Tegasaur. That was awkward. I forgot about that.
She's like,
she's like, you ruined my picture of him, and I'm like, you're fighting him, right? Calm down.
I guess not.
Yeah.
I think it'll be funny when she finally figures out that Blue Tegasaur, you were in there. Yeah. I wonder if she'll keep attacking him or just be like, I forgive you. Wait, what?
But we agree it's 8s across the board.
It's an 8, yeah.
Yeah, it's an 8.
All right, let's move on to episode 4, Party Time, Dreaming Old Man, where this is basically a backstory episode for GoZyu Eagle. So we get a flashback where we reveal that Joji Takehara, he's an 87-year-old man. He found the GoZyu Eagle ring, so he became a ring bearer. And he was inspired by his wife's dying wishes for him to live his life how he wants. He made a wish to return to his youth and become a party boy. So he was given a younger appearance, although apparently his appearance wears off if he doesn't eat egg nutrients. And he now begins attending a high school, but his grandson Futoshi is in his class, so he has to rename himself Kinjiro to avoid being suspicious. And he begins forming a friendship with his grandson. Like his grandson thinks that he's his age, so they're becoming friends. We also get a little bit of flashes on what Sumina's story is, because apparently Sumino was investigating the disappearance of her little sister, Oto, and apparently her black ring is revealed to not work with her henshin device. Atami, the prime minister, he defeats a prosecutor that was using a ring to allow him to transform into Ryuso Red. So he claims the ring for himself, and he's also revealed to own a Time Ranger ring. Um, and Also, we get a little bit of character development here with Hoeru, which I'm hoping will be a big deal, which is why I'm making a note of it. Hoeru sees Kinjiro with his family, so he sees Kinjiro with his son and his grandson, and he gets reminded of his own family. Hopefully that'll amount to something, which is why I made a note of it. But yeah, what do we think about this one, guys?
I'm going to start off first here.
Mhm.
Um, I have I had a huge concern going into this episode that I'm glad has not come to pass. But when Zodzi, that's his name, right? The
Mhm.
green. Okay,
Mhm.
Zodzi. Whenever
We
he
can call him
starts
Kinjiro.
Kinzuru. Okay, when Kinzuru started like saying, "Oh, I want to be a partier. I want to get. I can be a young kid again." Blah blah blah. I'm like, this is going to end bad. This is not going to end well for anyone because if you think about it, he's an old man becoming a kid again, basically partying with people. And what happens at parties when you have guys and girls all interacting? This could lead to a very uncomfortable place down the line where if he gets a girlfriend or some kind, I would be very uncomfortable with the Sentai then. But it hasn't come to
Yeah.
pass yet. But
I
it
think
is
all of
some.
us would feel that way too.
We would, but that's where my mind went first. Is like, oh no, don't do this. And honestly, I don't like this path where he wants to be a partier. Like, I get why he's an old man. He misses the youth, and he wants to relive the good old days or whatever. Blah blah blah, whatever. But I think the entire way they introduced him was a bad idea. Like, okay, so first of all, this should have been saved for much later, and either they didn't know he's an old man in episode 4, and he's just kind of hanging out doing his thing, and we get the reveal of the old man at like episode 25 or something. And then it's a bombshell. It's a huge plot thing, right? Like characterization happens, a lot of cool stuff can happen. But dropping it all right here, like exposition, was not the best idea for story development, in my opinion. And then the other thing is, again, the party element, it just doesn't click. I think you could have done something different there. You could have done something like, I wasted my youthful years partying, so maybe now I want to go back and be more studious, get a degree, maybe get a better paying job, maybe have a family, maybe do something positive. Not saying that partying is not positive, but something more inspiring, especially for something that is a kids' TV show end of the day. So for me, I have a lot of complaints with the Green, just in how they introduced him first, but then also there's missed opportunities here that I can't let go of.
I think I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it now because I never really thought about the criticisms that Riz brought up.
No. I was thinking about it too. I was like, yeah, because like when I was watching the episode, I was like, yeah, this could be very awkward. So I was like,
I mean,
luckily for me, that nothing awkward happened yet. But I was like, okay, I was anticipating it as well.
but it's,
So,
it's not even just the fact that awkward could happen. I think they missed a good opportunity to do something better in terms of story writing here. And
indeed.
I think the better route that they could have taken is that you could keep the story of him being an old man turned into a kid, but here's the thing. We As far as I remember, we haven't been told what Ryugi and Rikuo's packs were when they originally got their rings. So you could have Kinjiro be part of their little team, like, so you have Ryugi, Rikuo, and Kinjiro. And obviously, at least I hope so, they're going to reveal what Ryugi and Rikuo's packs are. You could also have like maybe a multi-part episode to reveal what Kinjiro was all about, but instead of having to be something petty like, just wanting to party, like what Riz said, maybe he feels that he wasted his youth and he wants to make something better of himself. That would definitely be great. So, yeah, I feel like I don't know, like I could definitely agree with Riz that this is a clumsy way to introduce this character, and you probably would have been better off just having him be part of Rikuo and Ryugi's little group, and then have his pact be revealed later. Which, again, I'm
Agreed.
assuming they're going to do that with those two.
Like, that's the other thing. I think you made a good point there, Nate, that I didn't even think about. He could have been introduced one episode or 2 episodes ago. Whenever
2 episodes.
whenever they came in, he could have been brought in at the same time, and it would have been a bit more cliche in Sentai writing of like, oh hey, first you get a red, then you get most of the other characters, and you get the last member of the team later, because he's a bit different in terms of character development. But they didn't even do that. Like, as cliche as that would have been, as tropey as that would have been, they didn't do it. And I think the way they introduced him was more of they were trying to make him interesting. They're trying to add some mysticness to him in a way, not really mysticism, but like just mystery about him, but they didn't really do anything. And to me, he's not a very interesting, he's interesting, but he's not like a very deep character by any means.
Mm-hmm.
And if he continues with spoilers, he does continue in episode 5 to being this party trope, then he's going to continue doing the same thing for a while, and I'm not going to like it because, spoilers, I didn't like it in episode 5 either.
Yeah, and honestly, the more of it, like, you talking about him being a gimmick character, and normally I would save this for the analysis portion, but I think it's appropriate here. That just kind of further explains why I believe that he probably should have just been introduced as being part of Rikuo and Ryugi's group, because I kind of get the idea that, okay, with Hoeru and then Sumino, I think those two characters are a little bit more unique, and it's a bit difficult to fit them into a category. But I
Yeah.
honestly feel like the other three kind of feel like they're meant to kind of be subtle references to older Showa era Sentai Rangers, and especially Go Ranger, because in Go Ranger, Owl Ranger, that's blue, he's this suave, cool guy, and that's clearly what they're trying to do with Rikuo. So he's blue, so they're making him similar to Owl Ranger. Ryugi being a comic relief strongman who's a little over the top, that's very much what Key Ranger was like, and a lot of Sentai Yellow Rangers in the show era were like that. And I feel like it's the same with Kinjiro, where well, okay, I know Kinjiro isn't technically isn't younger, but he's been made into a more childish member of the group technically. So it's kind of a weird, bizarre type of take on it, because that's kind of like what Mito Ranger was. He's the youngest member of the team. He's kind of clumsy, a little bit of a comic relief character, and I feel like that's what Kinjiro is doing. So I feel like with Ryugi, Rikuo, and Kinjiro, they're making them into these gimmick characters that are supposed to be subtle references to the original Rangers of their color, which again is probably one of the reasons why you're probably introducing Kinjiro in a very awkward way that you probably could have done a whole lot better.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the parallels to Go Ranger because I'd never known that. It makes more sense now why they're doing it this way, but I also just think this is a bad way to do it still.
Yeah, now you definitely can't fit Sumeno and Hoeru in there. There's no similarities between Aqua Ranger and Hoeru. And in the case of Momo Ranger, and I guess Momo Ranger is the only person who could relate to Sumino in this case. No, I mean, it's kind of a stretch, but no. So those two characters are a bit more unique, but the other three guys just seem like subtle, subtle and kind of creative but weird homages to the original Rangers of their color. Did you want to add anything, Patrick?
Yeah. I honestly, I think this guy has the potential to be the best character in the season because this idea is pretty unique and it could lead to some pretty heartfelt moments if they do it right. Because the final shot of this episode was actually pretty endearing, you know.
Yeah.
But this episode also got me thinking, and then the next episode we'll talk about the plot there, but it made me think that maybe this show might have the four other GoZyugers not read because we don't really know what his wish is exactly, but maybe their wishes are meant to be self-destructive. Like I can see him and Unicorn's wishes kind of like backfiring on them, and I'm sitting here thinking, is Tegasword like setting them up to fail? Maybe I was kind of running with this idea of is there a catch here with this stuff? Because
Is who setting up who to fail?
Is Tegasword setting them up to fail?
Yeah, I think there is some merit to that.
Because his wish is he wants to stay young, and you guys just went over all of the things that could go wrong with this. We'll get to Black in the next episode, but hers is very revenge-filled. We know where that could go. We don't know what Yellow and Blue's wishes are, but
I know what Blue's will be.
I can guarantee you that they're selfish, and their wishes that'll have very obvious, fallouts if everything goes wrong. What if they're all being set up to fail by Tegasword here? Yeah, and as the season goes along, the characters start like getting broken down or something. Like I don't know. I just don't trust any character who's like, oh, if you do all this, I'll grant you a wish. Because like, okay, there's something fishy with this guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case either, because there's a similar, like, okay, it's not completely similar, but it does seem a little reminiscent of the main story from Kamen Rider Ryuki, that's the one that got adapted into Dragon Knight, where it's like everyone is like given like wish it, like they have this whole thing where like you have to kill, like everyone is given rider powers, and it's all you got to kill whoever wins in this battle royale gets their ultimate wish, and it turns out to just be something that's being held by someone to manipulate people. But almost everyone who gets killed in the show ends up kind of dying ironically, like, oh, you wanted this wish, well, you got it, but in a kind of a messed up sense. Like Anthony, you've seen Kamen Rider Ryuki, so I think you kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mesh up perfectly, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up taking more of a darker route. Like, oh, Kinjiro wants to become younger, but but then it ends up backfiring on him. Like maybe he stays young, and there's no way for him to like. Maybe he ends up becoming immortal young, and meaning that he has to keep on living while everybody that he loves dies or something. Like, I don't know, that's pretty simple stuff, but yeah, it could end up taking it
Or it could
totally
be
messed
worse.
up.
He could like age maybe to the point where he's like a child. Like maybe
Yeah.
backfires out like that.
Yeah, so
I just had a crazy idea.
What's that?
What if these guys are all based off the 7 deadly sins, and there's 2 more Rangers to be introduced later?
I do know for a fact that we are getting another Ranger later this year.
Yeah, it's a 6th Ranger.
Yeah, it goes to Polar. That's all I know about
Polar
it.
Bear.
The name.
Yeah, I've heard that. But think about it. You have Green kind of filling the role of Envy. He
Yeah.
envies the youth.
Black would be
Black would be
rage.
Wrath.
Wrath,
Yeah.
Gluttony would be blue.
Mm-hmm.
Pride would be yellow.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely him.
Yes, and that leaves.
What the heck is red? I'm trying to think of the other things now. Sloth, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm just saying, it kind of lines up too with what you're saying, Patrick.
Yeah. Or maybe by the end of the season, Tegasword is actually the final enemy or something.
That's what I was gonna say earlier. I think he's the final enemy. Because again, like Nate said, no one will just say, hey, follow this really easy footsteps to get to.
He's literally giving out rings of past Sentai characters and basically telling him, yeah, kill everybody else and collect all these rings. I'm like, you're not the good guy here, Tegasword.
No, you're not. And honestly, I think if they go some route similar to what I said, this could turn the Sentai around. But they haven't done enough to prove to me that they're going to go that way yet.
Well, I mean, that's kind of skipping ahead to my thoughts on the first 5 episodes so far. This season
Shouldn't we talk about episode 5 first?
Yeah, but I'm just saying this now while we're on topic. This season is doing a lot of weird stuff, but I think that weird stuff has me intrigued more than the previous 2 seasons because it's a lot less standard fare than what we're used to. Because it can go in so many different directions.
Yeah, I need a better hook into this one though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not hooked yet. I'm not hooked at the end of episode 5 into saying, okay, I like GoZyuger enough to want to watch this on my own accord. Like right now I'm watching it because we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. I'm not necessarily sure how I feel about the season up to this point, but it has me intrigued.
I'm not.
So,
you know what the sad part is, Patrick? I wasn't intrigued until you mentioned this idea. And then I mentioned my idea. Until then, I was bored. I was not interested in the Sentai.
Yeah, because now it makes you really think there's a lot that this season could do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff. I mean, there's a lot of potential here. I really want to get to episode 5 so we can get to the analysis. I can talk more openly about my feelings because I don't want to muddy up the format that Nathan set, you know? So, you know what? Episode 4, giving this a 5 or a 6. I'm sorry.
I think a 7 is a bit better. I originally wanted to give it an 8, but I definitely want to. Actually, you know what? I think with the criticisms I said, I think I'm going to bring it down to a 6 because after hearing what Riz has to say, it's definitely kind of changed my perspective with Kinjiro. So yeah, I'm going to bog it down.
Yeah, I'm going with a 5 on this. The more I think about it,
I'm going to go with a 7 still.
Yeah, I'll go with a 7 too.
Yeah. Again, I'm the harshest critic of the 4 of us. And
yeah.
All right, one more thing. So I gotta say this one thing. So like for some reason this reminded me of that movie 17 again, starring Zac Efron, because in that one
What, you don't like that movie, Riz?
Have you watched it?
I don't think I liked it.
Oh,
I can see why. I don't blame you for not liking it. Me and my sister think it's like a guilty pleasure of ours. We just like how
it is. It's a guilty pleasure, but I didn't really care for it.
Oh,
I understand that.
My wife loves it, but that's just because Zac Efron's her celebrity crush.
Understandable. And plus that you got Matt, the late Matthew Perry, rest in peace, by the way. Yeah. He's in the movie, so
yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to episode 5. Recover your soul. Don't let your troubles get in the way. These
titles are really long.
Yeah. I mean, but at least they're not throwing in a bunch of stupid gibberish like a certain other Sentai.
Did you really have to go there, Nate?
Yeah, I totally
He
did.
was doing just fine, Nate.
Because
Come on, man. Like,
no,
Nate,
because I had to read those stupid gibberish titles, so I'm going to take a jab at those when I want to.
Nate, we have gone most of the podcast without mentioning that accursed season. Now you bring it up.
Yeah, because I want to take a jab at those stupid gibberish titles because I had to read that nonsense.
Whoa. Hold up. Zab or Zabba Zabba Waki Waki Deka Deka Deku Hookah.
The latter. But
You want
anyway,
you want to get Zabby Wabby?
yeah, I'll take a jabby wabby. A jabby wabby wobby wobby wabby wobby. Anyway, uh, this is more of a backstory episode for Sumino, where we find out. Well, first of all, we find out at the beginning that this episode gives her the ability to read people's minds. She was previously a cop. She had always aspired to be one in order to protect people. But then she got fired for being reckless because she was trying to get revenge on the person who kidnapped her sister, Odo. And then she gets put in a situation where the monster of the day is saying, "Hey, if you kill Hoeru, we'll give you crucial evidence about your sister." But then Sumino gets reminded of her true dream to protect and serve people, so she refuses, and this determination unlocks her Goju ring, so she can now become her own GoZyuger. So she is now Goju Unicorn. And fun fact here, Sumino is the first regular female black ranger who's female of the Super Sentai franchise. And at long last now, 5 episodes in, we have all 5 of the GoZyugers together, sort of, given the dynamic of the series. But yeah, so now is a time where we can finally pause briefly to talk about what we think about the GoZyuger suits. So let's go ahead and talk about them here.
Hold up. There's another fun factor you kind of skipped over.
What's that?
I know what it is.
You know what it is, Anthony, but I'm going to say it, dang it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sumino is the first regular black Super Sentai, but she's not the OG female black when you talk about the genre because Hyperforce did it first.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
It's true.
cool. So
As another fun fact.
Yeah.
Fun fact. She is now officially, even though she's not cop themed in her ranger form, she's the third black cop ranger in Sentai.
Black Rangers cop.
Yeah. Hopefully she'll live up to the to being as good as the previous one.
And not the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, she's cute enough, so even that alone, that'll get her far better than what's his name, Will
Gunpei.
Gunpei, yeah, and
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway.
But what do we think about the GoZyuger suits?
I'm gonna start off by saying when I first saw them in the preview, I had a lot of concerns because of the uncertainty of what we were looking at. Mainly with the fact that, okay, so AI had become so prevalent that I couldn't tell, was this a real attempt at making a poster for the Sentai, or was it some AI thing? Because yellow had 3 fingers, green's hands had the talon feel to them, so I was like, well, did somebody sat CPT this design because they're missing fingers? Now that we know this is part of the intention design and it's not some AI thing, or maybe it's still AI, but it's at least not easily detectable to be AI. I think it's not a bad set of suits. Honestly, I like them.
Yeah, the first time I saw them, I thought they were a little bit over designed, but then when we started seeing like the actual costumes and seeing them in motion, I'm like, these might be some of the best Sentai suits we've had in a long time.
Boom Boom's still better.
I mean, I think King Oger is better than these suits, but
well, yeah. If I'm being like serious, I think King Oger are the better ones, but Boom Booms are still better. Patrick, dang it.
No, I actually prefer these over the King Oger and Boom Boomser costumes.
I'm being facetious about Boom Boomser, but I'm being serious about King Oger.
I mean, I think these suits are all. I mean, I don't even want to say all right. They're definitely better than all right. Like, I mean, they're just fine suits in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like, there's
they're
nothing.
fine.
There's
I
nothing
mean,
special
they
about them.
They're better in action than they were when I'm just seeing like that weird picture that they showed the promo shot that they showed them all in.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the white boots though. Other than that, they look okay.
I will say the one thing that I was a little disappointed in is for Sumine's suit, did you have to add the pick accents?
The pink accents.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to throw in pink somewhere there, I guess.
But I
But it's not
mean,
as noticeable as in some of the other female Sentai Rangers I've seen.
it's not, but still, like, let her be her own thing without having to follow some trope.
Yeah.
Well, also the pink highlights on the other costumes of their respective Rangers' costume colors. So black on black wouldn't have looked very good.
No, but you
No,
could have done
it
like
wouldn't
black
have.
on gold.
I think
I mean, there was gold on
black,
her visor, but that's about it.
No, but
I
the
don't know,
gold could have gone
actually
all
think
the rest of it too.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah.
Like, give it more of that King Ranger feel. I like that suit. Minus the helmet.
I mean,
It's
we'll
a good
get to that
suit,
at some
but
point.
terrible Ranger. But okay.
Yeah.
It's not a great Ranger from what you guys tell me, but I like the suit minus the helmet.
Yeah. But anyway, let's wrap up the information on this episode. Sumino, she's able to use the Ryuso Red Ring that Atami obtained in the previous episode. So she uses that. Kinjiro uses Tegasword for the first time. He creates Tegasword Green. And this episode actually ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. We'll find out what goes on in the next time we do it. But Sumeno says she has a clue on the person that's behind her sister's disappearance. He has gray eyes. And guess what? Rikuo had gray eyes. Could he have killed her sister? I mean, dun
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 dun.
dun.
And that's how this whole segment is. All right, what do we think about this one, guys?
This was probably the best episode of the bunch.
Agreed.
Same here.
I think
Yeah.
Simino just needs to save the show from being boring to me.
Yeah, it's a simple story, but I don't know, like I we tend to be really hard on Yuri from Time Ranger. I feel like this is her done a little bit better because Yuri had the whole I want to get revenge from my family. Well, not family and not family in Tamina's case, just her sister, but still same different surprise. But we talked about how Yuri wanting to get revenge wasn't nearly as touched upon as like Jen wanting to get revenge for Alex's death against Rancic. But here they establish her they establish her motivations clear. She they give her a very complex personality where even though she wants to find her sister, she's very crafty. You don't want to mess with her, but she's also genuinely heroic and she's nice. And we kind of know, and hopefully we're going to get a lot of episodes revolving around her trying to find her sister. So yeah, I mean, I would probably say that at least based on this episode already, she could be a better version of what Yuri is, which I'm hoping Riz will agree with me on that because I know that he does not like Yuri at all.
No, she's Yuri done correctly.
Yeah.
Down to the investigative part where she's a equivalent to the Time Ranger or whatever they had in Mirai Sentai.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they took notes and are like, oh, hey, remember that lame ass pink we had? Let's do her better. Finally.
I know you done pissed off a lot of people who like Time Pink, just FYI.
I don't care. I piss off a lot of people with my opinions.
You do. You do.
But am I wrong? No.
We can agree, disagree, but okay.
I'm not wrong.
And honestly, now that we
We
have
can
all
agree,
five of them
disagree.
together, I do like the dynamic that the five Rangers have. It's kind of similar to like what actually, no, it's a little bit different than what the Go-Ongers had with the Go-On Wings, but it's like you kind of have a bit of a friendly rivalry going on, but you're certainly not a group. Like I don't think all 5 of them have henshin together once so far. So
No.
so at some point maybe they'll become a team, but at the same time they acknowledge that they're going to have to fight against each other at some point because each of them wants to try and obtain all the rings. So it's I don't know. That's kind of an interesting concept that we haven't really. I mean, the
King
closest
Oger
thing.
did it.
Well, yeah, but in King Oger's case, it's like they're all like individual kings fighting to protect their kingdom, but they were never fighting against each other, at least too much. Like here, they're literally going to have to fight each other at some point.
But I mean, now that we're here at the end of episode 5, well, okay, I think we should give our score if we want to talk my deeper stuff.
Yeah,
But-
I
Oh,
probably
can I
give this
say-
a 9.
Yeah, can I
Go
say
ahead,
one more
Anthony.
thing before we continue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I have maybe 2 theories on what I would think about Gozu Leon's character. Oh, I think might be like the hint that might happen. What's been going on with him? There are 2 theories. My first theory, I think, this is not the real Rikuo. I just think this might be a fake because in the episode, he clearly says, "Oh, you used to have gray eyes, and now you have blue." Wait, was it blue eyes or was it? I think.
He's a blue-eyes white dragon.
So I'm thinking that this might be a fake, and maybe the real Rikuo, maybe he's dead, or this could be the real Rikuo, but for some reason he's, I guess, changing his mindset, or it could be somebody, I guess, pretending to be him for some reason. I don't know why, but
Or it's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing, where when he's in one personality, gray eyes, other personality, blue eyes.
that would be interesting.
Or he's just wearing contacts that cover his tracks.
There's so many things that are wide open. We don't know enough about him yet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's too easy, Patrick. I mean, I know that'd be the obvious thing, but I'm like, that's too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and watch
Yeah.
that being exactly what happens.
And I'd be like,
It will
dang
be
it, Patrick.
happen.
You be right
It will
all along,
be.
like,
Watch, it'll happen.
right.
But yeah, I'd give episode 5 a 9.
Same.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9.
I'm gonna give it a 9 as well.
Okay. We're all giving 9s. Let me get into my rant. I've been holding
Okay.
up on this for a bit. I don't like the theme. This theme is bugging the crap out of me. That's why I'm getting frustrated with the Sentai at points, because it's not very conducive to the Sentai formula of, hey, let's pull people together, fight some baddies, and kick ass and take names. I mean, yeah, I know GoZyuger had the wings and the GoZyuger separate, and they were like rivals, but that worked because they had some commonality. But here, I think they're overfeeding into the number 1 thing to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm getting tired of hearing about number 1. It's in the name of the Sentai, cool. It's the anti-name of the villains because no one instead of number 1. So
I believe we're called number 1.
well, okay, so either you call them no one because they're not number 1, or they are number 1, depending on how you want to look at the English translation of it.
Maybe they say NO because it's supposed to be number 1, but they just, I guess, I don't know.
No, but the Japanese, I think I'm hearing no one.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
And then I'm also just, every time they go into that weird moment where they like pit each other, like where they pit 2 or 1 of them against the bad guy of the week, it just seems
You see that theme of
extra.
the thing before they start fighting each other, like the music that plays, like it's like Super Smash
Yeah.
Bros. And I like
Yeah.
that though. What? Come
Eh,
on! Oh, you're
Mm-mm.
killing me, Riz. You're killing me.
It adds a lot of personality to the season. They
I don't know,
treat it
maybe-
they treat it like they even give the GoZyugers like a victory screen when they win or something. Like
I mean,
like
there's
that
some
stuff.
there's some good points to it. I'm not knocking it completely.
Mhm.
But what I'm trying to get at, and I think you guys are missing, is they're pulling too much emphasis on the theme of the #1 Sentai, but they're not really doing anything interesting with it. I mean, they're saying, "Oh, let's all fight each other to get our wishes granted," but could we get some more lore on why these Sentai powers are here? Why the robos are, all banding together? What was going on? Give me some more lore here. Give me something.
I feel like
We
they'll
probably
get
ain't
to
getting that
that.
till like a little bit later.
Yeah,
No, but
Maybe
even,
not right now. We'll get bits and pieces of it. It's not. It's
but
like
even now, we should have gotten a little bit more than what we've gotten, because we got nothing right now. And
Yeah.
they're feeding into the #1 hype, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting tired of just this mindless #1. Like, it's fun, it's cool, it's hype, it's all that stuff. I agree with y'all, but I want more. And the more they don't give it, the more I get annoyed.
I mean, we literally just got the whole cast introduced finally. Like,
Yeah.
now we can start looking for that stuff.
Yeah, but also at the same time, like, the fact that they're all pit against each other, I think King GoZyuger had that done a bit better in like how they were like rivals and stuff. Even the GoZyuger and the Wings had that done better, where they had rivalries going on, because it's not really a rivalry here. They're just like saying, "Oh, one day we're gonna fight," but they're not really building any like rivalry or any sense of urgency or anything. They all just sit in a cafe. They're not in their own little houses. They're in their own little apartments or their own little buildings or whatever.
well, to be
Like,
fair, they're
separate.
staying at Hoeru's apartment, so
They
Hoeru's
don't
the one
have.
actually that pays rent there.
They don't have to. They could all like go. They could have all been somewhere else. They could have been like separate, had their own faction, had their own thing, been plotting against each other, but pulling them together in the first 5 episodes in the way they did, but then telling us all, "Oh, we're not really a team. We don't really want to work together." No. If you're going to do this, Toei, then commit to it. Go commit to the bit and have Green live in in some clock tower near the birds. Let Yellow work his way and live in a museum like Kendall did in Dinosaurs or whatever. And let Blue's rich. He doesn't need to live off of red to begin with. Why is he there?
The world may never know.
That's just a hangout spot. I don't think they actually just live there. It's just like a hangout spot.
But even okay, so if it's a hangout spot, because a minute ago y'all said they were all living there because they couldn't live anywhere else, and now you're
No. I said Red was living there because he was paying an apartment complex.
No,
He was
I get
paying
why
rent
Red's there, and I get that Yellow owns the restaurant now or whatever.
Yeah.
But having them in that close proximity, where they're not able to scheme, where they're not able to plot, they're not able to plan separately, will make this turn into okay, we're going to be rivals later, but they're going to continue to work together like a team for right now, when it'd been much more interesting to have them all separate and come together in like 20 episodes. Kind of like how King GoZyuger did it. Like, they didn't really become a team in King GoZyuger until like episode 22 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So if they had done that, that'd been way better. Like, let them occasionally fight together, let them build their Megazord together when they need to, but let it be when their interests need to align. But having them hang out together outside of fights, outside of missions, not really helping sell the story of let's have a rivalry and let's have us all be #1, right? Like, it just doesn't fit.
Maybe they got something else planned, because I honestly don't see how only one of them will get the wish or whatever and taking all the rings. I don't see that happening, honestly.
No, something's going to happen in the end, obviously, but but the point is, if you want to
But you know what's crazy, Riz? Your complaints are what my complaints were toward the end of Lupat. Because
I haven't seen Lupat.
they were trying to get all of the items to make a special wish or whatever,
Yeah.
And long story short, that didn't happen. So I'm like, what? We did all that, and it led to nothing.
Oh,
That's
they
what
never
I
got
was
their
put
wrist?
out. They didn't even collect all the items.
Well,
They didn't need to. They need the wish.
that's boring.
Yeah, that's what I
No,
said.
but see, that's the thing. Like, you gotta balance it out. You don't want to go too far loop path. Then I've not seen loop path, so I'm going off of your words here, by the way. So either you can't go too far loop path, but you can't go to this extreme of GoZyuger either. King Oger had the right balance. Take that same balance and apply it here. They've done it before.
I mean, I get your complaints. But like I said, I just don't really like. I'm not really bothered by it, honestly. But that's just me, though. I mean,
No, I mean,
your top opinion is fine. I don't know. Maybe I've just seen it differently.
no, I mean, I know I'm going to be the outlier in this series of podcasts for a while until either I see the light that you guys are seeing, or you guys see the light that I'm seeing, or something. But
I mean,
I'm cool with the separate opinions.
I mean, I'll kind of go against what you just said about you kind of wishing they did it how King Oger did it. I'm glad they didn't, because looking back at those early episodes of King Oger, it was annoying. It was one of the. I actually was really annoyed with how they went about that, because it made everybody unlikable. And I know that was probably the point, but it wasn't the best part of King Oger. It got so much better when they finally joined forces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to go through that journey to make the characters good. Like right now,
It overstayed its welcome. I would rather they do this and just skip it entirely, especially 2 seasons later.
Yeah. No, I get your point, but also I think the characters are kind of weak right now. And I know it's only 5 episodes and blah, 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 whatever. But aside from Black and a little bit of Red, I think they're pretty weak.
I mean, I kind of felt the same about the King Ogers after 5 episodes. Because
Yeah,
they were mostly just, here's my overly CG kingdom. I'm an a-hole. I need you to kiss my ass. And then it was like that for 7 episodes. I'm like, okay, we get it.
Right, and that's how I feel right
That's
now.
probably the reason why we like Blue so much, because he was just different when it comes to how he ruled his kingdom. He doesn't really like do the whole royalty thing. He just does his own thing.
Yeah.
Okay, raccoon brains.
And then it took them, and then it took them about 20 something episodes before the characters really got into a rhythm. So
right,
I'm going to be patient, because we've been through this already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially because just like King Oger, this season is doing something that no other season has done. So I'm going to be a little bit more patient before I start getting critical.
Well, I like to be critical from day one.
Because I mean, let's be real. I was overly critical on King Oger at the beginning, just like you are right now, and I ended up being wrong on everything. So,
hey Patrick, how'd it feel to be in different roles for once?
So I'm gonna learn my lesson from King Oger to be patient here.
I guess I'll learn your lesson later this season, if maybe that's but no, that's just kind of where I am right now. Is I'm in your boat from King Oger, Patrick, where I just don't like where we are right now as a season.
Yeah. I mean, I will say it is a little bit off-putting, because the season is it's doing something of its own, and it is very off-putting. I will agree with you on that.
Also, it's following some of the decade formula, and I can't agree with that.
That's certainly not something I'll object to Riz on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, you had Taya, you had Zactor. You couldn't have gone the Boom Red ring and just said, "Oh, hey, look, this actor is using the Boom Red key. Ha ha, not key, ring. Ha ha, get it? He was the Boom Red last season. Ha 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 ha." He didn't have to be Taya. He could be just some other rando, but let him have the Boom Red key. Ring. Why do I keep saying key?
There's got to be some kind of explanation for them doing that, because I don't see why. Like, it didn't say they would set another universe or world, so I'm not sure what they're planning with this.
I think it's the alternate universe, like what was it called? Zen Kaiser.
Yeah.
I
But
think
it's
it's
not
better
as
for
direct
universe.
as it's not really direct as it was with that show and Dawn Brothers because they're both set in an alternate world or whatever.
I mean, the way I view all of Sentai, every season's its own universe at this point. That's the easiest way for me to handle the seasons that we get in Sentai. With Power Rangers, I'm more willing to accept, okay, they're in the same continuity, they're in the same universe, they're in the same multiverse, because they built that lore around it. But Gokaiser had one set of continuity, Zenkaiser had another set of continuity for how things work that didn't really mess well with the Gokaiser continuity. And then it just, other things pop up here and there where it's like, okay, you're not looking at continuity the same way the Power Rangers did, you're just doing it for the fan service.
Mm-hmm.
Like Toei didn't care about the continuity; they care about the fan service. That's all they care about at the end of the day, because that sells the toys, and that's a gimmick for them right now to have these rings sort of with the Red Ranger heads on them. Oh, hey, look, here's another collectible.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
but no, the other. Sorry, Nate. Let me just get this one last thing, and then I'm done ranting.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other thing is, why couldn't, like, okay, I know I already talked about the Sentai Reds not being their color and all that, but why the heck did we only have Taya's actor around like for 1 or 2 episodes and he vanished, but yet the Prime Minister's becoming a recurring character throughout? Why can't they all be like that? Why can't there be like another faction of these guys, or like another, not even like a group of them that are working together, but like just more of these guys that are out there being recurring characters throughout? Like have Taya's character be like a recurring guy who's just kind of competing with them or something.
I mean, we'll have to see him again because they're going to need to go after the King Odra key. So,
Yeah.
or ring or whatever. So,
I got to saying key too.
It was kind of instinctual.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see him again. We'll have to.
Yeah, but I think my thing is, I'd rather see them like a recurring thing every episode.
Well,
like,
maybe later
maybe he
on.
will. I know, again, 5 episodes, I get it. But also, we're seeing the Prime Minister quite a bit right now. I would like to see the others as often, because I think those characters are much more interesting right now. They know something that we don't know.
Possibly, yeah. But anyway,
character rankings.
The what?
Character rankings.
Yeah.
Villains are boring. There's no need to talk about villains. Move on to character rankings.
Yeah, well, yeah. We could start off with just giving our opening tier ranking, and we probably don't have to do much comparisons, just because there's not much to go off of. But yeah, let's start off with Hoeru, like the opening tier rankings for him compared to other Reds.
Ow. I don't know. I have a hard time gauging this guy.
I'm going to put him in the B tier for right now.
Yeah, I guess.
Because he has room to grow. He's not a bad Red, but he's not a good Red either, right? Like he's also not average.
There's clearly going to be a lot more to him by the time we're done here.
Yeah, so I'm throwing him into B tier, then eventually he might go to A, maybe could go to S, but who the hell knows?
I think B tier is appropriate there.
Yeah. Anthony?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him B tier as well.
Cool. Who's next, Nate?
Rikuo.
Blue?
Yeah, I'll start off just to make this simple. Like I said at the beginning, Rikuo didn't really leave much of an impression with me. I know Riz didn't really like him, and then Anthony and Patrick, found him pretty intriguing. I personally didn't, but I'm not going to put him in D tier. I'm just going to put him in C because he didn't do anything to really irritate me. It's just he left the least impression on me, but he's not. But and that's where I put C, where you're there, you exist, you didn't do anything to irritate me or blow me away. So, yeah, that's just where I'm going to put you for right now.
Yeah, he's a C tier for me as well.
Yeah, same.
Definitely agree with that.
Okay, Dino Boy. For me, I'm sorry, guys. I know y'all like him. He's a D tier to me, man. He's too annoying. I can't deal with him half
Dang.
the time.
I'm gonna put him in B tier just because I mean, as someone who's seen a bunch of the older Sentais, I can see what they're trying to do with them, and I kind of admire it. And I don't know. I feel like this guy. I feel like this guy definitely could become an intriguing character. I see where Riz is coming from with the criticisms of him, but I don't know. I think he's a fun little kind of homage to older Sentai. So I like him. I think he belongs in B tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put him there too.
All right, and then Kinjiro.
I have a hard time with this one because I don't like the way they introduced him.
I don't think the way he was introduced was very well done either, but he has a lot of potential.
There's a lot of story that could be written for him, definitely.
Yeah.
That's why I'm conflicted.
I think I want to throw him in C just to be safe.
I was gonna pick C as well.
I was gut instinct gonna throw him in D, but I think C might be more appropriate.
Yeah, I think so, because, Riz, I know that you said that there's some problems with how his story is written, but he could rebound and save himself.
Oh, 100%. He can rebound. He probably will rebound.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm not giving him the D tier, because he's done something to make me think he's worthwhile, unlike Yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow, to me, is like almost on the Gunpei level of, okay, you're here, I'll deal with you, it's fine.
And then what about Sumino?
Yeah, she's probably A, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put her in A.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny how she's this high up already, because, I mean, she's got some stiff competition from her predecessor with Black, but, I mean, yeah, I think she could end up being the best character. Well, we have to see what the Sixth Ranger looks like, but so far, she's probably the best character on the show.
Well, remember, even if Sixth Ranger starts out good, doesn't necessarily mean that they end up being good.
Like last season.
Just saying, man.
Yeah. But do we have any but yeah, that brings us to the end of the character analysis. Do we have any closing thoughts on GoZyuger before we wrap up here, guys?
You mean I haven't given you enough complaints already?
I've seen some clips of episode 6, and I can't wait to talk about it because it's going to make me laugh.
I have some. I know what you're going to say, Patrick, and I have the same.
Yeah.
I have the same energy of like I want to laugh at it,
Mm-hmm.
but I also have some annoyances with the fandom right now as well with regards to it. So we'll talk.
Oh, and I know what you're talking about there too.
Yeah, so we'll save that for next time. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm excited to talk about that one. Definitely, it'll be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, with that said, that wraps up our second GoZyuger review, and we will be taking a look at least. We'll try to get up to at least episode 10 next time we take a look at GoZyuger. But with that said, guys, next podcast, we are officially starting our very next Sentai that we're watching. So you guys definitely check that one out to fit, so that you can see the highly anticipated, Sentai that we're going to be reviewing next. Hope you guys will join us for that. We're going to be, because we got a bunch of Sentai planned up for you guys, but we've been keeping that secret for a while. It's finally going to be revealed. So join us for then. And also join us again when we revisit GoZyuger, hopefully soon, to take a look at up to 10. And we got a lot of great stuff planned for you guys for the year of 2025. And we hope you guys will join us for all of that. But until then, bye for now. If you enjoyed listening to the Toku Secrets podcast, please check us out at animesecrets.org and follow us on all our social media pages such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also feel free to check out our other podcasts, including Anime Declassified and the Jedi Squadron. You can also leave us any feedback you'd like to offer us directly on our website. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we thank you so much, and please leave us a rating out of 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave any comments down below, as we love to take the time to read comments left on our channel and give our fans, shout-outs. If you have any seasons of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, or other Tokusatsu shows that you'd like for us to check out, please don't hesitate to say so in your feedback.
With all that said, we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast, and we will see you next time as we continue our never-ending journey through the world of Tokusatsu. But until that time, you all stay safe, we love you, and may the power protect you.